Good evening. I want to read some of my notes that I've made in regard to the teaching on the rapture and the second coming of the Mashiach. I'm convinced that Yahuwah's plan requires the church to disappear before Daniel's 70th week begins. Remember this, Yahuwah set aside 70 weeks or 490 years for Yasharel to accomplish 6 things. You'll find this in Daniel chapter 9 verse 24. At the end of the 69 weeks, or 483 years, Yahusha was crucified. The clock suddenly stopped, and Yasharel, or Israel, disappeared along with its temple and the old covenant worship. Daniel's prophecy was left incomplete, and from that time on, Yahuwah's focus has been upon the church. Now, this isn't replacement theology, what I'm teaching. No, Yahuwah has a plan for the church. He has a plan for Yasharel. And he's fulfilling those plans. If you know that Yasharel has rejected, as a whole, the nation has rejected their Messiah. And because of that, salvation was opened up unto the Gentiles. And in fact, Yahusha himself said that because you didn't know or recognize the time of your visitation, that that he was going to turn to a nation that would bear its fruit. In other words, he would open up salvation to the nations. When I say Gentiles, really that's what the term means, is to the nations, or people, groups of people, other groups of people on the earth. So salvation became available to the whole world because of Israel's, or Yasharel's, rejection of their Messiah. Now, down through the centuries, there's been Jews or Yahudim that have believed on the Messiah or the Mashiach, and of course, Yahuwah sees them as part of the church now. If they're born again, they are part of the church. Just like a Gentile is no longer a Gentile if he has been born of the Ruach HaKodesh, he's now part of the church or the bride of the Mashiach. So we're a separate group of people. There's, like I said in our last session, there's 3 types of people on the earth today. There's the Jews, there's the Gentiles, and when I say Gentiles, these are the unbelieving Gentiles or peoples of the earth. And then there's the church, and the church are the true set apart ones right now on the earth. We are the bride of the Messiah because we have believed on him whom he has sent, and we now are the sons of Yahuwah, as it says in 1 John chapter 3 verse 1. And but once the rapture takes place, then Yahuwah begins to focus his attention again upon the nation of Yasharel. That's why he has to fulfill this last 7 years that will fulfill the 70 weeks, or what we call the 70 weeks of Daniel, or 493 years. See, the clock stopped at 483 years when the Mashiach was cut off. Of course, you'll find this in Daniel chapter 9, verse 24, that the prophet Daniel prophesied that after 483 years of the nation of Yasharel, they would be, the Messiah, Mashiach, would be cut off. What amazing prophecy that is, by the way, you think about it, that you realize that his death was prophesied hundreds of years before he came to the earth. And it prophesied that the Mashiach, or the Messiah, would be cut off, or put to death is really what that term means, to be cut off. And of course, he appeared on the scene. Also, he fulfilled prophecy, and when he came into Jerusalem, and the people began to call out, and Hosanna, Husha'ana, which they were saying, save us now, what they were actually declaring, they recognized the Mashiach. Of course, the higher up hierarchy of the Jews did not recognize the Messiah, and they rejected him of his claim that he was the one that the Father had sent. And so because of that, Yasharel has been in spiritual blindness for all these years. But Yahuwah is not through with them. He's made promises to them that he's going to fulfill. He has promised that, in fact, Paul wrote about this in Romans chapter 11, that once all the Gentiles have come in, then the nation of Yasharel shall be saved. Now he's talking about the remnant that's going to be left over, because there's not all the Jews or the Yahudim are going to survive the tribulation. and to be more accurate, it's 1/3 of them will be saved, and that's the remnant that Paul was making reference to, that the whole nation itself will finally recognize the Messiah. And but again, the church's purpose, we don't have a purpose on the earth during the time of Jacob's trouble. We already have been made righteous because of our faith and trust in the Messiah. And so there's no need for us to be here during this time of judgment. And believe me, it's a time of judgment. We'll pick this up on our next teaching, and thank you again for sharing this with others. And we'll pick this up on our next broadcast. Shalom.